You are listening to Unstoppable Actors, the essential podcast for ambitious, unknown actors with me, Louise, the artistic director of Standby Method Acting Studio. And for the last 13 years, I've been taking unknown actors with blank CVs all the way to Netflix dramas, Amazon Prime films, TV soaps, and stage plays around the world. And every week I'll be talking with you and sharing how you can become a paid working unstoppable actor, because you 1000% can. An acting career is doable. Are you ready to dive into the episode? Hello, welcome to Unstoppable Actors. I'm so glad you are here because this is a very insightful episode. We're taking a deep dive into the 4 myths about your acting career that are keeping you in the shadows. I don't want you in the shadows, because being in the shadows means nobody knows who you are. It means opportunities flash by and you don't get the chance to grab them. You don't engage with them. Being in the shadows means nobody knows you exist in the acting industry, and that is not going to get you on track to being an unstoppable actor. You are more than capable of becoming an unstoppable actor. As I say in these episodes, we often just need some help along the way to help us see things that we haven't considered before. And getting more auditions, as we know, is the aim for all actors, whatever level you're at, whether it's those just starting out, whether it's those with a bit of experience under the belt, whether it's those returning to the industry after a break, those who've had high level jobs but maybe have hit a plateau. But whatever level you're at, however you identify yourself on this journey, getting more auditions is important, because we all know that the more auditions you go to, the more likely you are to succeed, because it's a numbers game. And if we have the skills needed to turn the words on the page into a living, breathing human, it's only a matter of time before we get our next acting job. But we have to get out to more auditions. And when you're in the shadows, you are not going to be getting out to more auditions. I'm Louise. I'm an acting coach who specialises in method acting, but I also absolutely love mindset and the business of acting. And I love combining that with method acting. It's how I coach all my actors in the classes, because I truly believe this is the formula for success. And it's not just that I believe it with no evidence to back this up. I've seen it happen time and time again. That is the formula for success. So if at the end of this episode you've enjoyed it, you've taken away a new idea, you're feeling inspired, or you feel like you've been helped or been refreshed on something that maybe you've forgotten about, there's 2 things you can do. Number 1, rate the show on Spotify if that's where you're listening. Or number 2, share the episode with the actors you know. It is so important that we're getting fresh talent out there in the industry. It's so important that new faces are coming through into the industry, and you and your acting friends are those new faces. We have got an incredible free training that is coming up on Sunday, the 23rd of February, 4 p.m. till 6 p.m. UK time. It's online and it is free for the first 100 actors. After that, it turns paid and it becomes £35. So if it is important to you to get onto the radar of the casting directors and agents and directors who can help you move your career forwards, so you're getting more auditions, you're booking more roles, then you will want to grab one of those places whilst they are free. Because we are going to be deep diving into the business of acting, and we are going to be looking at business of acting exercises that are rarely taught, and I'm going to simplify complicated things for you, such as marketing, brand identity, goal setting, etc. Now, this is not a class that is there for freebie hunters, because I can't help freebie hunters. But if you are someone that will show up to the class with an open mind, and you are ready to learn, and then you will implement what I share with you, then that class is definitely for you. So go and get your place. I've also left the link for you underneath where you've pressed play. So there are 4 myths out there in the industry that are keeping you in the shadows. Number 1, the first myth, being that only the lucky few make it. The second myth is that you have to be in the right place at the right time. The third myth is that there's so many sacrifices you have to make, you will never be able to live a normal life. And then the fourth one is that you can't ever have tattoos or piercings. Now, there are more myths out there in the industry. So after listening to this, if you'd like me to do a 2-part series and you've heard something that I haven't covered in this episode, then please do drop me an email. So send me an email with the subject line acting myths to podcast@standbymethod.com, and I will do a second part of follow-on to this episode. But let's dive into these first 4 then. Only the lucky few make it. This simply puts the agency outside of yourself, as though there's a select few that have been chosen by the gods to make it, and it takes all power away from yourself. What I want you to know, or remember if you're already aware of this, is that you create your own luck. One of my favourite quotes comes from Denzel Washington, who is an incredibly talented actor, and I really agree with what he says. And he says, I say luck is when an opportunity comes along and you're prepared for it. But what I need you to do first of all is define what making it looks like to you, because making it is different for everyone. Also, I want you to know that whatever your circumstances are in life do not define whether you can make it or not. Although I'm now in a completely different place in my life, if you've listened to this podcast for a good couple of years, you will know that I was brought up on a council estate. My parents had zero money to throw into acting classes for me, but because I didn't know any different growing up, I didn't know life outside of poverty. This wasn't an issue for me because I managed to find places that I could train. I managed to find opportunities. One of them was that I went to the Crucible Youth Theatre in Sheffield, among many other things that I did. For Christmas, as a young teenager, I would ask for the biographies and autobiographies of the actors that I absolutely adored. And so I read the books of Anthony Hopkins. I remember my granny buying me a book on Leonardo DiCaprio and his journey from unknown to A-lister. And even now, I've got a book by Matthew McConaughey and Al Pacino that I dive into regularly because I am fascinated by the journey that other people took. And if you want some real inspiration, Al Pacino was homeless and poor. So let that inspire you that an acting career isn't for the lucky few. It's for those who are brave enough to create their own luck, and for those who are brave enough to take action and ask for what they want. And as you're listening to Unstoppable Actors, I know you're one of those people. You've just got to do it because nobody else can do it for you. So do only the lucky few make it? The ones that create their own luck make it. The second myth about your acting career that's keeping you in the shadows is that you have to be in the right place at the right time. I mean, it kind of is a myth and it kind of isn't, so I'm going to break this down. It's often said with a negative connotation to it. So here's my view. Get in the right places. Be an active participant of the acting industry and be an active participant of your own acting career. You can do this. You're more than capable of mixing with other actors and other creatives. When you do this, when you start mixing with other actors and other creatives, you will be in the right place. And then it's just a matter of introducing yourself to people and making friends. And eventually those opportunities present themselves to you. I have always managed to get myself meetings with directors local to where I'm from. And then they've introduced me to their director friends and people they know. And that's how I have always got the majority of my work, by getting to know people and building genuine relationships with them. If I look back at every single one of my big acting jobs, I can always work it back to when I've been in a group of actors and I have been introduced to someone. The work hasn't necessarily come straight away because this is a long game, but it's always come when I least expected it, as cliche as that sounds. And you don't have to be super confident to be introduced to people. I would say now at this stage of my life, I am socially confident, but back in my 20s, I was only confident with my close friends. But I still managed to generate genuine connections with people, and genuine connections is what is going to help you get work, because people want to work with people that they like and that they feel they can trust. So then the third myth that's keeping you in the shadows is that there's so many sacrifices, you're never going to be able to have a normal life. And one of those big sacrifices is a financial one. And I can't deny that there are going to be some sacrifices, but you can still have a normal life. I was still able to do the things that the society tells us are a normal life, the regular life, buying a house, buying a car, going on holiday with my friends. I just had to learn to manage my money well when acting work wasn't coming in. And you should absolutely have zero shame about your bread and butter job, whatever that is. But you should also learn how to manage your money well, how to budget. And then, of course, I have experienced complete poverty. I was unemployed at one point. No acting work was coming in. I was on the dole. The dole in the UK is government assistance. And I decided that I was fed up doing supply teaching. It was sucking the life out of me. I just could not do it anymore. I was getting that horrible dread feeling in my belly, and I was like, I really don't want to do this. So I set up Standby Method Acting Studio at the most broke time in my life financially, because I wanted a day job that kept me in the industry. I just had to get resourceful. I just had to be proactive. I had to find opportunities for myself to be able to make this my living alongside acting work. And honestly, I've been able to have a life that I have enjoyed. Sacrifices are going to be part of any industry. Whatever industry you're in, there's going to be sacrifices in achieving your goals and your vision. And you just have to decide what you're okay with sacrificing and what is a non-negotiable that you absolutely won't sacrifice. And then you work to your own agenda, and you can still enjoy all the things in life that are important to you. I coach so many actors who are parents and have got children, and they still have the life they want, and they're still able to get cast. It's doable. It really is doable, but it's always about figuring it out. And then the final and fourth myth that I'm sharing in this episode is that you can't ever have tattoos or piercings. I used to be such a plain Jane, even though this goes completely against my character. And I'm not saying plain Jane in a derogatory way to those people who enjoy being that. It's just not my character. Back in the day, I wouldn't have tattoos because I was like, no, you can't have tattoos as an actor or you'll never get cast. And I used to be so cautious about my hair. Even though I was a teenager, I experimented loads with my hair. I had black in my hair, bleached hair, half red hair, half blonde hair. And even now, at the age that I'm at now, I still have that desire to play around. But when I didn't allow myself to be who I authentically am, and have tattoos and piercings, it actually dampened my spirit and my energy, and that is not me. And who I am is a big part of my brand identity as an actor. And so I decided to go, fuck it, let's just be who I am. And so when we talk about sacrifices, a non-negotiable for me is that I'm not going to sacrifice who I am. So now I have 6 tattoos. I know I'm going to get more. I have my nose pierced, and this has not ruined my chances of getting auditions. I am very aware that I can take my nose stud out and I can put a plug in it. I am very aware that I can put stage makeup over my tattoos, and so can you. So please do not become a wallflower at the expense of your own spirit for an acting career. Be yourself. I'm not saying go out and get your full body inked up unless that's what you want to do. But I am saying stay true to your essence, because that is a huge part of your castability as an actor. Being a wallflower just dampens your spirits. And I'm sure there's going to be some people that are going to disagree with me on this. But I just know that we don't have loads of time on earth. So I'm going to do my best to have a rich life, both in and out of the acting industry. And art in the form of tattoos is that for me, away from the acting industry. Now, there are obviously more myths out there in the industry, as I've said before. If there's any you would like me to cover that I've not covered on this episode, as I've already said, drop me an email. My email is podcast@standbymethod.com. Put the subject line acting myths and tell me what you would like me to share, and I'll do a follow-up to this episode. And if you're feeling fired up, you're feeling inspired and motivated by this episode, and you want more, and you want to work with me a bit more closely, then go and get one of those free places at the Business of Acting workshop that's happening on Sunday the 23rd of February, 4 p.m. till 6 p.m. UK time. It's only free for 100 actors. After that, it's £35. So I'm inviting you to take one of those free places. It's for those actors who are serious about staying proactive and motivated in 2025 and getting more auditions and getting their foot in more doors. It's for those actors who are going to take what I teach you in that class and implement it so that actually happens for you. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you again soon. I've absolutely loved hanging out with you, and I really hope you found this episode inspiring. If you have, please do rate the podcast and hit follow so you never miss an episode, and I can help more actors like you. And come and join one of the most supportive, uplifting acting communities on socials, the Unstoppable Actors Facebook group, where you'll get your weekly injection of inspiration, networking, and receive your free Method Actors handbook so you can become an unstoppable actor.